Hello and welcome back to HoI4 with our England campaign. We are doing pretty good, don't we? Let's improve our working conditions while we're at it. Add that little bit more bonus to go with it. War with Japan! Interesting shit, to say the least. How it's gonna look, I don't know yet. Oh, but this is the point where the United States is going to become more and more important. Did they already take care of the Navy? No. Interesting. The Japanese Navy was superior. Mostly self-government for the Mediterranean. What are you doing? Release Malta. Malta was a puppet. What? You're fully decolonizing. Alright. They're gonna be an interesting target. However, I really don't want to be at war with Japan. But I don't know how we got... Oh, right. Yes. We were part of the Allies. So that's how we got into war with Japan. Anyway. Got into Korea, I guess. Going. Have we got any weapons produced? Yes, we do. Rocket artillery is improved. Good. And let's get the Nebelwerfers and let's get our tanks to start working on dictatorial. I could not for the life of me pronounce that, to be honest. Shinkin. Yeah, things are looking good. Oh, we need some more rubber. A tiny bit more rubber. Ah, right, because of the armored personnel carrier. Yeah, armored personnel carriers. Because we want to replace this entire mechanized crew with it. Max speed is gonna go down by 1. Until we get the better mechanized in. How many do we need? About 10,000. Sure, you can see volunteers like her. Seems that my mechanized units are doing or motorized still. So doing pretty good. Something for me? No, I wish these guys got some more skills though. They're okay-ish, you know. This guy's still a trickster, but he, you know, he could get improv fighter. Just gets one of these. Rank 6. Same problem. Excavation. That's good. Is there anything that I really need right now? We're 33. Oh right, yeah, I'm still having. I can get some work done here. Let's see. Develop oil fields, iron mines. I don't need any of those, really, considering everything. I just need other stuff. Mostly just rubber. Concentrated industry that allows me to have a large amount of factories extra if I wanted to, so let's just ignore these for now. I don't need war support. I don't really need anything with my political power, so that's going to be a little bit boring. This is 45. You know what? Maybe at some point I really should look at my Air Force as well. We've been so focused on everything but my Air Force. Because in the early stage of the game, you don't really need to focus. Germany, at least, you don't really need to do a lot of research in your Air Force. It's because you already have your 1938, 6 thing. You already have good aircraft, 1936 aircraft. Like, this is all what you already have research. You just, on 940, have to focus on it. And I tend to be a bit late about stuff that I don't have to think about. Why don't you just drive? That's probably a bad idea. Drive like this. Oh. Because the game won't allow you. That's so sad. Get through there. That's one. Holy fuck nuggets. Jesus Christ. How much defense could you have? It's actually not that high.
Achtung!
Oh, fick mich. Deploy and deploy on. Oh, come on. It's a Field Marshal's front. I cannot do that. Little radar station there and get it done. Get it done.
Abstand halten!
Oh, Christ, it goes so damn slow. Speaking of slow things, I want this to be ready. How expensive are these? 100 a piece versus 30. God, I'm gonna need 4,000 of these, I guess, to supply my infantry with one. That's gotta be a bad idea, and I like it already. Let's get the. This is a 10% bonus at night attacks. This might allows me to perform a little bit better against them. Like 4,000 OU. Reinforcements. Light on tanks. They don't expect to be light on tanks. Expecting a lot of things, but not that. That's okay. I've got equipment. I need to produce more rocket artillery though. It's a better rocket artillery. There we go, that looks a little bit better. As well as the fact that I can get a lot of German factories to produce some more guns. Guns for the gun god. God, we have a lot of civilian factories. Well, let's get them rolling. Russian Federation capitulated, because that's what the Russians do these days. It's almost like they were a French puppet.
Auf geht's!
Calling the French
Ausrücken!
monkeys. Still think that's very funny.
Ihre Befehle!
Supply is a problem. Kind of hoping that the troops will either move up or really to just kind of spring up like this. This is all still considered part of the. First, we need more factories so we can keep the production up. For the mouses, we're probably just gonna need 150 factories to produce them because these things are nuts. They're really, really expensive. Like a Jagd mouse. At least there were models for these, right? You know, well, I don't think there was a King Tiger expedition. No, there was never a Sturmtiger, yeah, but not for the Tiger 2. Nor was there a heavy anti-air version. Flakpanzer 3. Ostwind, yeah. Wirbelwind. Kugelblitz. Not an artillery version? Really? Brumba! Definitely. Those things were awesome. They were insane, to be honest. I guess that's the better word for it. I think a lot of German equipment that was designed in the later stages of the war could just be described by a singular word. It was insane. Nuts. Fucking crazy, mate. Like, really, genuinely, that's, I think, the best way to describe. Wait, we lost one infantry guy? God damn, I think that is why also I'm no longer at the infantry cap that I need to have. Producing tanks all day long. Tanks will sing this song.
Angetreten!
I need something. It's called tungsten. Just trade with them. Alright, we got our mouse. Good. I'm not gonna do anything else with it, so that's okay. I am willing to take over this. I'll not take over, but you know what I mean. Brain's not working well. Alright, I want 150 factories from somewhere. Not gonna get that. But stop making the noise. We're gonna get quite a few soonish. 6 factories and a low thing. It's gonna take 1 month, 2 months to build one of them. If I am gonna add in a singular super heavy tank, I need quite a lot of them. However, this will add significant amounts of stats. Holy shit. This is basically like a high tier gun which you basically add. You can just do regular rocket artillery in here. I'll remove that. Okay, 20 with combat. Look at that. 101 soft attack. I am looking forward to having these guns in here. That'd be fucking insane. More armor will make these things basically impenetrable. Now it will be even slower than infantry. If you look at the total stats, I think of a fully upgraded mouse. That's nuts. I don't think I've ever built a super heavy tank. Currently we're producing 2 a week. Oh, you should see the smile I'm having on my noggin right now, just for the fact that we're building these things, and I need more of those factories, so... I'm gonna build quite a few of them, actually. There we go. Let's start with that. Looking forward to building an insane number of them. 2 a week. Come on. We got this. We got this. This is gonna go crazy fast. Imagine just having like full 20, 40 width divisions with just these tanks. Gonna be slow. It's basically gonna be very, very, very expensive infantry. But it would be fucking nuts to get that done. I kind of want to do it now, but it's so ridiculously expensive that it's not even going to be funny anymore, I guess. I don't know how expensive the other variants are. Yeah, that's fine what I just did. However, sorry, stop yawning. 100, they cost the same, okay. So it would basically would be nuts. Yeah, I think that's the best description of it. I still have enough research to do, so I really don't want to do it because the numbers are not the same. It's not as it seems like one group will take over 15 tanks. That's not going to be the case for the other things. Yeah, let's give you because you're slightly faster, so it will be a bit of an upgrade. We can move away a lot from you. We're at 12 now. Jesus, it doesn't really go fast getting these guys. Okay. How many do I need? I could already start, of course, adjusting a little bit. So mechanized will be fine. There we go. Got the first mechanized in. But I'm still waiting, I believe. No, we got our light tanks again. Good. This is, however, like perfectly the wrong terrain for us to fight in. Is there any terrain here in Asia that's just good to fight in? This is okay. Is that the only bit that's currently problematic with infrastructure? Interesting. Let's see if we can well, we don't really have a war plan, do we? No. Yep, now you do. Just need to get moving, that's basically it. That seems like that, but Japanese are not capable of keeping up. We've got 4 million Japanese potentially that we need to get rid of. Manchukuo is, I guess, the better terrain for my tanks to fight in. For now, I'll let them hold, it's fine. There's some bits and pieces which they will perform fine, I guess. This is hill mountain, so that's doable. See?
Ihre Befehle?
Alright, let's just bash through a little bit. The horses won't do you any good.
Alright. Los, los, los!
Yes.
Abfahrt!
Yes.
Rückzug!
That one. Yes. Actually, one more, but it's fine. Doesn't really change how I'm going. Either one way or the other.
Los, los, los!
Funny.
Angetreten?
Seems this guy, the one that actually went down, also received the brunt of the attack. I need to get through here fast. This is mountain territory. We are performing, considering everything fairly well in the mountain territory.
Angetreten?
Mountainous territory. We'll hold one. So we'll keep some defenses in the back. Alright, outpost, there we go.
Befehle?
And we'll just open up from another angle. That should hopefully provide us with the stomping power and staying power to get this done. Yes, it does. Does it? Yeah, there we go.
Zeigt es ihnen!
Alright. Hold one.
Bereit zum Ausrücken! Ausrücken! Zuhören! Achtung! Bereit! Zuhören! Ihre Befehle?
That's one of the puppets down and out. Good. Panzergrenadiers are superior after all. Great. Next one. Next up, we are pushing in already. I'm gonna shift your attack priority to here. However, I think you guys should just go, really. However, some of it is mountain, some of it isn't. Ugh. I want to create pockets on one end, but I don't doubt it's really working and doing what I want it to do. Let's see, we got mechanized. Okay. Shifting it to mechanized. It's just a small bonus, but it's just a tiny improvement. It will increase weight supply, that kind of stuff, but it's just better. We got enough fuel, so it's not. That shouldn't stop us from doing anything. Banning communism might not be it. That's better, actually. This is a fast way of doing it. It's not the speed, I just want the remaining little bit of communism that exists within a nation to be gone forever. Ammunition 43 is actually pretty good for us. So, what are we producing that we don't need? Super heavy tanks. How many do I have? 107. More than ever we've been produced in the world. At least for the mouse, with a couple of prototypes. And I think the T95 is one of the other few super massive heavy tanks that exist. Okay, this is a terrible order, and I think it's probably just confusing the AI a little bit, so let's just do it a little bit better. There we go, that would work. Go.
Zuhören!
Just do that. I don't know what Japan's doing, but I can guess it's not working. It took over the radar side. I was constructing a little new one. That reminds me I need to research a little bit more radar also. 44, no, 45 is my next rocketry list. So I like this. I'm fairly happy with the setup that we have with our Panzergrenadier divisions. It's not so heavily reliable on tanks that if it is unsuitable terrain for tanks that they immediately just kind of like, yep, you know what? We're useless. Because that would happen. Like, forests aren't that bad, but everything besides forests is just kind of shit. Like hills, to take it just douche of a penalty. River crossings, they're useless. Now, I think by switching them slightly more towards the mechanized type instead of the motorized, I think they'll take a little bit more of a penalty comparatively. Let's check. Or doesn't that make any difference? It does. They lose about another %. However, they gain more movement in forest, and in jungle, and in marshes, so I think in the long run it's just slightly better.
Angetreten!
So there you have that. Doesn't give me no special forces captain. How the fuck could I train them before? Anyway, I want more of these. Low priority, thank you. Get some more.
Ihre
Are there
Befehle?
any battle plans that you could execute? Not enough command power.
Ihre Befehle?
Answers my question. I had one of these that I could potentially do
Bereit zum
something. I don't
Ausrücken.
remember who it was. Improv expert, yeah, you. He's got a level 6 now, since he's not getting organized right all anyway, so.
Bereit!
That's bad. Let's see if we can get you to Vietnam. Go. They don't seem to be capable of doing a lot. Also, the amount of naval movement we've got here is fairly interesting. Looks like they got their navies at home. They've got it right there in our home region. Let's get a lot of it here. I think America's current problem is the fact that they never joined us in the war, so they're stuck on their own efforts. Convert them from stockpile, please. There you go. And are you gonna be bugged out as usual? Yes, it is. Great.
Zuhören!
Just go create damage. Never mind. Wait, there's troops here? Oh, there is. I think we ran into some mountains. Okay, game. Checking a bit. Alright, so you just ran aground. Okay, that's fine. Hey, accidental pocket is
Bereit
accidental.
zum Ausrücken.
I consider everything that it's a pocket that I haven't created personally as an accident, so for those that are new here, that's what I refer to as an accident, the pocket. Didn't create it on purpose, so it must have been an accident. Alright, we're gonna actually do that, and then we're gonna remove these lads from here, because we just ran into a large mountain range, and it is just stupid to attack there. So I want to get him over to Manchukuo, but before I can do that, I need to get rid of some... I need to occupy that front line with something at least. What I could do is already move Rommel towards here. And go for the Beijing coastline.
Angetreten.
Well, you hold this temporarily. It should shift some stuff around. could, if I wanted to, get more rubber from here, I just realized. That that is a possibility. Army maneuver. Nah. I think 10% is just better. I think 10% attack. No. Right.
Ihre Befehle.
My tanks are not doing anything. There we go. Now they are. How many heavy tanks do I have? 300. What's currently the weight? 5. Supply use 0.5. Let's see what happens. It's not as bad as it could be, but yeah, we're gonna need 1,000 more of them. Good. The gaps that fall due to capitulation are getting cleaned up perfectly fine speeds. I need to build more roads now. It's terrible, the attrition here, otherwise. Oh, we're looking on factory count. Wait, am I still in trouble? Right, every time a large portion of factories is ready to start producing the super heavy mouses. Producing close to 5, we're gonna end up with about, I don't know how much, probably about 12 to 13 a day when this caps out at its efficiency cap. It's gonna be nuts. Just the fact that we're already producing 5 of these things a day. Like, I don't know if you know, because I'm not doing really anything but waiting for some front lines to be pushed in. Well, not a lot of tactics going on. I'll just Google some info about the mouse. Mouse, if I can write it correctly, mouse, tank. Tank. Can I type? No, I cannot. Panzerkampfwagen 8. Mouse. And I got a Dutch Wikipedia page, which is not useful because I don't want to translate on the fly when there is enough info about it in jolly good English. Anyway, just some stats, just, you know. Number of build is 2. One of them was incomplete. This thing weighed 88 tons. Or 207 short tons and 185 long tons. I don't know what a short ton or a long ton is, but a short ton is 2,000 pounds of mass. Okay. What's a long ton then? Long ton is known as Imperial ton or displacement ton. It's a name unit called ton. Alright, anyway, it is so a ton is about 1,000 kilograms. So this thing weighed 188,000 kilograms. So that is a short ton. In pounds for you guys, it would be about 414,000 pounds. That's close to 500,000 pounds in just pure weight. This thing was 10.2 meters long, or 33 feet and 6 inches. It's about 3.71 meters in width, or 12 foot and 2 inches. And, just let me go up. Yeah, this one, I think. I don't remember. This thing was about 3.63 meters high, about 11 foot and 11 inches. Had a crew of 6. That's not interesting. This thing had, on the turret front, 220 millimeters of armor. Turret size and rear was about 200 millimeters. The whole front about 200 millimeters, which was sloped. Remember, the whole sides about 188 millimeters, which is flat, which is not that great, but the rear is about 150 millimeters. This thing wielded a 128 millimeter gun. a 12.8 centimeters, as the Germans probably refer to it as, gun. It's about 5 inches. Had a secondary gun, which is just a, you know, just a casual 75mm gun. Like this thing's secondary gun was basically the gun the earlier Shermans used, but a German variant of it. You know, it's a 75mm. It's just a 75mm. I would say short-barreled gun. Doesn't really look that long. What do I need in this tree? I don't really need anything. Gun here. I want these. Yeah, do I want it? Yeah, I do. Because I got some ship stuff coming up. Anyway, this thing was insane, right? Had a V12 petrol engine in the version 1. Version 2 had a V12 diesel engine. Created around between 800 and 900, no, 1,000 plus horsepower. Sorry, I was looking at kilowatts. So about the petrol engine created about 1,000 horsepower, and the diesel engine about 1,200 horsepower. Power to weight ratio was crappy with 6.4 horsepower per ton, which is not that bad. Ground clearance was about 20 inches or 500 millimeters, or 50 centimeters, or whatever you prefer. Optional range only on the road was only 60 kilometers, 100 miles. And on off-road it was only 62 kilometers, which is 39 miles. Just to give you a bit of a point of reference, I know a little bit of distance in, you know, my home country. That would have been about from here to roughly around there, off-road. That's it. This is about a 40-minute drive on the highway with a car. It's stupid. And that would consume about 710 US gallons of fuel, about 2,700 liters of fuel. That, my dears, is, I think, the scientific unit for that is a fuck ton of fuel. That thing, especially if you realize when this thing was invented, like, at what stage of the war, it is just dumb. At the point where this thing, this brainchild of, I think it was Ferdinand Porsche, came into existence, the Germans were without large swaths of resources. And they decided to spend what little they had remaining on creating a tank that just they had not had the resources for. Like, you gotta love Germany. They were losing on all sides and decided, like, you know what we should do? Spend more of our resources on stupid things. It is, I think grandeur is a good word for it. Delusions of grandeur. We're not losing. How could we be losing? We've never lost anything. Well, that was true until, you know, you started losing. Besides, it's an insane thing. And they were working on newer models. You had the E100, which was an idea that they were working with, which was actually, if the war would have progressed, more likely that would have become a more standard heavy tank. However, I think at the time there was more preference towards the E50, which was a replacement medium tank. E50 was still a pretty large fucking tank, and probably bigger than anything that the Allies had. Yeah, other super heavy tanks. You had the Tortoise, which was a British bunker basically on tracks. T-28 super heavy tank, same idea. Well, both were tank destroyers technically because they had a fixed gun. Right, they had a bigger model that we're looking at as well. This is purely theoretical. I don't know if this thing would ever been. Hopefully, there was, I think, Krupp was working on this. Is the Landkreuzer P1000 Ratte, which is basically just a battleship on tracks, which is just a bad idea. Remember, at this point, aircraft becoming prominent, and most countries were already having the feeling like, you know what, battleships are no longer a very good idea, because a single aircraft with a well-placed torpedo, well, a couple of aircraft well-placed torpedoes, which are a lot cheaper, mind you, can just take one out. And the firepower is not longer worth it because the expense and running cost. This is the same point the Germans were thinking, like, hey, we could build maybe a battleship on land. It's nuts. It's just illusions of grandeur. Nuts. Anyway, we're just clearing China. This is not really a challenge. This is just mostly annoying.
Bereit zum Ausrücken.
There's nothing wrong with being a little bit annoying. But this is just mostly annoying. I hate war with Japan because it's the mainland thing. I guess this is actually entirely accurate as how it historically was. Everybody hated fighting the Japanese because they just didn't want to surrender. And that is pretty much the problem that we're having as well. Just a waste of fucking manpower. 1.2 million people died in the Japanese-American War because what? Something got attacked. The Japanese are not even in our faction. I mean, the Americans aren't even in our faction. So, to me, this is just a waste of manpower and resources. I got some army experience laying about. Probably should invest it into something more useful. There we go. Got all of that upgraded. Yeah, super heavy tank of the mouse. Let's see, reliability. There's no armor. Reliability 5. I'll go a couple of points into the main gun. There we go. Reached the point where we're actually working in phases. Convert from stockpile. Well, it doesn't create new ones. No. Create new ones. Don't convert from stockpile. We just need more tanks to begin with. Alright, we don't really need that. Seems that my tanks are doing the run of the attacks. That's pretty good. Do we have enough? Oh, well, mechanized. Yes, 4,000. I think that means we can go to these. Yes, can I get one more? No. Let's go one more. No, that's not. It's just gonna be annoying if we do that. Alright, so yeah, we're literally just we're in a cleanup stage.
Achtung! Ausrücken!
Where the Russians were a challenge, the Japanese are clearly providing no real challenge to us. The biggest challenge is going to be, never mind, it seems it's something, managed to gain the Coral Islands for us. Doubt we can safely shift over any troops, but somebody's fighting there. Who owns this? It says Japan, but it's blue, so that might be the US. Problem is it's occupied by the United States, yeah. Alright, let's just clean this. I can't remember exactly which mod it was, but it had a very cool, nice little button that said prevent allies from occupying the front line. That would be pretty great right about now. Seems that they're all hell-bent on pushing out of here, not out of China. Guess that might be my advantage right now, at least that this bit is not gonna get itself completely shafted. Well, we're at 39 minutes, so I'm actually going to end the episode here, and I want to thank you guys for watching. See you hopefully in the next one. Have a very good day. Bye-bye.